Hi, welcome back to the Story Hour podcast, Voices Unscripted, Stories Rewritten with your host, Sara Jaswal. Okay, I'm going to start off by being fully transparent. I have been sitting here in front of my computer for probably like 45 minutes trying to figure out the tech side of things, and it's been so frustrating. First, my camera wasn't working, and then my audio wasn't working, and then the platform that I use to record the episodes was being super glitchy. Good thing that I test it before I actually start recording is just like a habit I have. And I was getting so frustrated, you guys. I'm just going to be fully honest and walk you through the behind the scenes of, oh my goodness, this is so annoying, but also just things that aren't really talked about. And I'm not here to be perfect. I shared in my first episode that I'm learning along the ways. And such a big part of me was getting so annoyed with all this tech stuff. I was trying to figure it out. And then I just felt like I was getting out of the zone on being here. But then I was like, I already got dressed up. I'm already ready to go. I want to record the episode. So here I am. Maybe I just need to ground myself for a second, for a minute, because, oh, that was so frustrating. Okay. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, I don't really have a specific topic for today's episode. I just felt like coming on here. It's been a few weeks since I uploaded my previous episode. And I guess, what am I trying to say? Kind of like a transition into this episode does reflect back on episode 3. If you haven't listened to it, this summer will be different. And navigating loss and longing. I really encourage everyone to go listen to that. I really shared some personal things and brought light to a topic that I don't think is talked about enough. And I know that many of us struggle, especially women. But here we are. I've been reflecting a lot, you guys. And I know this isn't your like typical format of podcast. I know a lot of them are interviews and all of that, but that's just not my vibe right now, anyways. And I will be bringing on guests onto the show, but I launched this at the end of June. And so everyone's in peak summer mode, myself included. I really took a step back from a lot of things. And so right now, this is just me coming on here. I'm doing a lot of solo episodes, which I really think are so great. I think it's so great to have guests on here and have conversations. And I do miss that. And I'm so excited to bring that forward. And that will come in the fall. I'm going to start getting that all together. But right now, I'm just like chilling and I'm just coming on here and just sharing what's feeling alive in the moment for me and what I feel like would be relatable for a lot of people. I just like chatting. Like, honestly, you and me, it's like we're having a coffee, a drink, or whatever it is, and we're just chatting. We're talking about life. We're talking about just things that happen and are happening in our day to day and bringing light to it. And I love this. I just feel so good when I'm here recording the episodes. And so this is more of just a conversation. Maybe it's going to be a little bit of a life update for me, talking a little bit about what I talked about in episode 3, but also just talking about summer and transition that's happening. We're coming to a close, which is crazy to think that summer is almost over. I know technically summer is still a month left. I think end of September is when we transition into fall. But I mean, everyone's gearing up, trying to enjoy the last 3 weeks we have left before kids are back in school. Maybe I'll just start off there talking about the transition of summer into fall and how that can bring up a lot. I think it can bring up a lot of just pressure and sadness, even a little bit of grief, and grief in the context of the seasons are changing. And it's not the type of grief that we're used to, but there is a little bit of like losing like what we're used to in the present moment, like the longer days, the sunshine, the warmth, being out and about, having holidays and vacations. It's what summer is about. And so then you're transitioning back into more routine, more structure. Kids are back in school, back to the grind in a lot of ways. And that can be a lot, right? I shared in episode 3 that I had a really bad summer last year, like really, really bad. I didn't get into so much of the details of it in episode 3. I touched on it. You'll have a pretty good understanding of what it was like, but I just been reflecting a lot on it, and I'm having the completely opposite summer this year. Last summer, just to refresh your memory, if you didn't listen to episode 3, was I really hit a low depressive state for many reasons, but a lot of it had to do with I just felt like I was wasting my summer. I felt like I did nothing, and honestly, I really did. I was home a lot by myself. I went out here and there, but I was very lonely. I felt very alone, and I got caught up in the social media consumption and comparison. I was consuming, and then I was watching everyone else's highlight reel. Everyone was out and about doing things, traveling, going to have lake days, beach days, hiking, like whatever it was, spending time with their kids, spending time with their partners, just watching sunsets, like everything that you do in summer that I long for and I desire so deeply, so badly. I did none of that. Barely any of that. I took myself to the beach and I'm very comfortable being on my own. But honestly, you guys, it was so lonely. And I just really hit a low point and just thinking about my life and where I'm at and being single and not wanting to be single. I'm putting myself out there. I'm on the apps. I've been online websites and just dating, and it's just not working. And I really hit a depressive state because of it. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be fully transparent. And I know a lot of people do. And this is very relatable. The dating world and the dating culture in 2025 is fucked up, if I'm being really honest. And that's a whole other conversation on its own. But for me, I was really sad and I hit a really low point, and that trickled into so many other areas of my life because I feel they're so interconnected. And I felt so shitty. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I felt like I'm wasting my summer. And I was in one of the most depressive states I've been in a very long time. And I really just shut down. And on top of that, I lost my license. Again, I've shared all this in episode 3, but I just want to reiterate and speak about that because I've been thinking about that a lot. It was maybe in the early fall that I started to come out of it, dug myself back out of the hole that I built, and I started to feel better. And I remember I vowed to myself, I will never do that again. I cannot do that again. Like, I just can't go through that. I was really depressed and really sad, and I was feeling so much grief and so much sadness and so much anger just with everything, not just being single, but just everything. And I vowed to myself, I cannot go through that again. I can't control external circumstances or anything, but what I can control is this. And so I vowed to myself that this summer will be different. This summer has been very different. I have been very intentional and made the conscious decision that this summer will be different. Like no ifs, ands, or buts, full stop, period. And it was a choice I had to make. And it's something that I have to make every single day, every moment of every day, because I will tell you, those feelings, the sadness, the grief, the longing, the desire, the grief around all of that, around my vision, it's there. It's 100% there. But I'm choosing to not let it have control over me like it did last year. So I've been very intentional about what I've been doing. I need to choose to be happy because otherwise I'm going to go through what I went through last year. And although there are moments and there's a lot of days that I still feel quite lonely, even though I'm doing things more than I was last year, the undercurrent of all of that, it's still there. Like I still feel all of that. But the difference is I'm just not giving it so much control as I did last year. One of my really good friends shared with me the other day, you feel, you look, you sound, you feel a lot lighter. And that actually makes me emotional because, oh my gosh, I didn't think I was going to get emotional. Yeah, like I do feel lighter, and it's because I could not go through the darkness that I went through last year. Like it was really bad. Um, hmm, I didn't expect this, but we're gonna roll with it because this is the reality of life and the ebbs and flows and the grief and the excitement and the joy and just all of it. And yeah. It was just really hard. So to have other people recognize that too, especially friends who are so close and know the depth of what was and what is now, that in itself is something truly special. It's so real. And I think a lot of us deal with that alone. And even though I feel a lot lighter, I feel like this summer has been very different. I feel like I'm not always by myself. I've had a lot of love and connection. Underlyingly, I still feel the sadness. I still feel the grief around it. It's there. but it doesn't have a strong grip on me like it did last time. I was so ready for the summer to be finished. I was so over it. Every part of me wanted to just throw summer out the window, and I could not wait for fall. And I remember even sharing with a friend of mine when we were talking about it. I was like, I hate summer. I remember verbally saying those words out loud. I hate summer. And we kind of laughed about it because at this point I was past the darkness and the depression and the sadness. And my friend laughed and she was like, "You're going to run out of seasons soon. You're going to have no seasons." And I started laughing because I say that about winter as well, because I really have a hard time in winter. I struggle a lot during the winter months, especially during Christmas season. Again, for similar reasons, being single and watching everyone else with their families and their spouses and doing all the cute things and just being together. And then I'm home a lot. I don't have a lot of plans. And everyone else is out and about. And I know there's two sides to that because a lot of people are like, we're so busy and it's just constant. And I'm not dismissing that, but I'm just saying to be home by yourself and not really have anyone to do anything with, like, that's really hard. And so I also say I hate winter. And last winter, I went through something very similar as I did in the summer. I think they were both equal. Summer was probably a lot worse, but the winter was really bad. Again, I was watching everyone doing all these things and I was comparing myself and I was just really fucking sad. And so I knew I was laughing because I was like, I hate summer, I hate winter, or I hate Christmas. The last couple of years, spring has been a little bit rough too, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I really I need to get that in order because that's not okay. Like, I can't live like that. I can't live all year having a lot of resentment in every season of life." And that's just something that I chose to do different this year. And I'm so glad I did. And I still go through it. I'm still in it. Honestly, to be fully transparent, yes, I'm a therapist, I'm a coach, I'm an educator, I'm a facilitator. I have the tools, I have the coping mechanisms and all of that. But I still go through it. Like, I still hit depressive states, different seasons of life, but also in the year. I'd say like at least 1 to 2 times a year, I'm in a really low state. And I'm okay to admit that. I'm okay to be vulnerable about that and share that. And I also think I should know better. I start talking bad about myself. It's like, you know this, that you know better. This is what you teach and educate other people on, and you provide tools and coping mechanisms for them. Like, how come you can't get your shit together? I have that dialogue a lot of times, and that's really unhealthy. And what I keep coming back to, and it's something that I've been really learning and leaning into all these years, is I am human first. No title, no accomplishment, no piece of paper, no diploma, no degree, no certificate is above that. I am human first, and I still struggle. We all still struggle. If anyone tells you, even who are in this profession, and industry, that they have it all put together and that they're fine and that they have the tools in their back pocket and everything's all good and gravy all the time, it's not. Therapists need therapists, coaches need coaches. And I'm okay to admit that. And I do that. I see a therapist. I have people I have a village, really. I have different practitioners that I reach out to and lean to when I need to. It's just a part of life, right? Like the ebbing and the flowing, and not only the physically, the different seasons of life, but just metaphorically, the changes that we go through. It all comes back to us. Remember, I talked about this in episode 3. Like, it's up to us to do the work and work through it and take back control where we can take back control. There are times when we don't have control over something and we can't take that back. But it's looking at your life and, what do I have control over? What can I do? What are the changes that I can make to better myself and to not fall through the same patterns day after day after day? And this is why I share this. And I'm sharing this whole topic around this summer will be different and bringing light to that, because I could stay stuck. This last week, even, I've been really in my feels, really, again, feeling the same things. The sadness. Where am I going with my life? What am I doing? Is this ever going to happen for me? Am I ever going to find a partner? I'm almost 40. Oh my gosh, is kids even in my future? I've been having these thoughts, like these spiraling thoughts a little bit. And I'm catching myself and I'm recognizing it and I'm honestly just letting it flow. The difference I'm feeling this time around versus last year is that it's not having such a strong grip on me. And that's because of intentionality that I've chosen for this summer. Like, what can I do? I can just sit there and let those thoughts take more power over what I know that I am capable of and what I can do. It kind of feels like a double-edged sword, to be honest, because even knowing all that, the sadness and the grief and everything that's under here doesn't just go away. I don't think that's ever going to go away. We just have to keep getting better at acknowledging it and accepting where things are at, because otherwise, what are we going to do? Speaking of the transitions of into fall, it's a really hard time for me. Last summer, I could not wait for it to be over. I just wanted nothing to do with it. And this summer, now that we're coming to a close, I remember last week, I think it was raining one day or it was like really gloomy. And I remember looking out the window and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what's to come. We're in the transition phase right now. And that brought up a lot of sadness for me. And the reason was because I don't want summer to end. I'm not ready right now for summer to end. And that was a really big statement for me to say out loud and to hear. Because I'm like, whoa, that's a huge difference from last year. Like literally polar opposite experiences that I'm having. And it just brought up a lot of grief and sadness as well, because I know what comes with the fall and the winter. It's like daylight out till maybe now the days are getting shorter, but I can go hop in my car at 8 p.m. and go wherever I want to because it's still daylight. I can still drive. And that was one of the biggest things that came forward for me was the driving aspect of it and my vision. And I know this usually happens every year. And this is why the winter is usually pretty bad for me because it's dark here at 4 p.m. and I can't drive. And so for me, when I was looking out the window last week and it was raining and gloomy, I was like, shit, like this is coming to an end. My life just looks very different. And I think for a lot of people, that probably is true, right? Life just looks different in the summer versus when it's winter. We all feel that. I feel like in summer, we're more happy, quote unquote. Not everyone, for the most part, we are. And then come then, and that's a big transition. And so for me, I just brought up a lot of sadness and the loneliness that I feel. And I know that many of you feel as well, too, especially in this context of being single. Something else that was coming through for me, I feel like maybe I'm alone in it, but even yesterday, I was feeling very sad and I just started to listen to music and just got really in my feels. And I was thinking this a couple of years ago. These last 3 years have really rocked me in a lot of different ways. Professionally, starting this new career and everything that comes with that. And then just personally, all the things that come up, all the insecurities, the self-doubt that comes up. And then this whole aspect of my life about being single, wanting kids and it not happening and being very frustrated and sad about that. But parts of me feel like I'm having a midlife crisis. And I know this is going to sound really strange to a lot of people, but it's something that I come back to time and time again. And last night, I was jamming out and I like music that I can feel the lyrics and listen to. And there's also tears of pride and gratitude of just thinking about where I was and where I am. So I was doing a lot of introspection. And it was actually really nice. Started going through old pictures. I started going through my old content that I wrote, used to write, and just how life just felt very different. And like even went back and looked at pictures from way back when I was in high school. And I feel in a way I'm having a midlife crisis. And what I mean by that is like I miss how life felt so carefree back then. Even to 5 years ago, it feels very different. Even like 3 years ago, I feel life now feels just so much more heavier. I feel there's more stress, more anxiety. I also think for me, I'm in this helping profession, right? And so that's all I've known for the last 7+ years. Since I lost my driver's license in June 2018, I've been on this journey and it's been so beautiful. It's been so expansive. It's been one of the most liberating things I could have given to myself. The best ROI I could have ever, 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 ever asked for. And I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. I don't take a second of it for granted. But I got so caught up in that. And it's been 7+ years of that and it needed to happen. But I felt like that's all I've been doing. And then obviously doing that as a profession and then doing it personally, like it just got to a point where I'm missing those carefree days, the days where we would just be out and partying and having fun and now I feel like there's just so much more rigidity in my life. There's so much more having to be on and having to be so structured. And I obviously that's by choice because I do operate like that, but there needs to be a balance. And that's also why I feel like I really cut back on my own healing, like seeing a therapist or seeing my holistic practitioners, because I was like, I need a break. I'm done with this. And it can become an addiction. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that. But when you start healing and you start unpacking all these layers of your life, all these experiences and trauma and grief and childhood wounds, like whatever it is, they all start to come to the surface and they're meant to. And that's the part about healing that is so beautiful because we need to face it to heal it, right? But it also can be very draining and it's never ending. We're never going to be fully healed. We're never going to be fully perfect, but it can become an addiction. And I can say I felt like that. I just felt like always constantly being on this edge. And for the last year or two, I'm like, I need to step back. I was working with a coach at one point a couple of years ago, and she said something that was so pivotal. And it just changed everything for me. And I remember just bawling my eyes out when she shared it. And she was basically was like, you need more fun in your life. You're too much on one side of things. The healing, right? The personal, professional development, the growth, the transformation, all that. That is so needed. I am not denying that. I think everyone needs that. But there also needs to be fun. We also need to let loose. We also need to be carefree, do the things that bring us joy. And I just feel like when I say this thing about midlife crisis, I look back at life and I'm like, don't do any of that. And obviously, health is number one priority. And I feel like it should be for a lot of people because without our health, we are nothing. But I feel like I just became so rigid and so structured, and I started to feel resentful. And so finally, this year has been such a big, pivotal, transformative year for me in so many ways. And again, just that intentionality and that conscious decision that I made about this summer being different, it actually played into so many different parts of my life. And I've just been enjoying and living and doing the things that bring me joy and not feeling guilty about it. For the first time in a very long time, I do not feel guilty. All summer, I have not done much. I've literally just been soaking in the sunshine, being active, just doing what fills my cup and not worrying about anything else because I know the rest is going to play out. And I needed this. I didn't know how much I needed this until I've been in it. And that feels so good. I just felt like an exhale to my nervous system this whole summer. I just needed this time to rest and recoup. And it's okay. I've been in it for 7+ years. It's okay, Sarah, for you to take a break. Like, you need this. And I think that comes with just the overproductiveness, right? We always feel like we need to be on and being overproductive. And maybe for some people that works and, each their own. But I think for a lot of us, I don't think it does. And I think it's okay to slow down and to honor yourself where you're at and not feel like you need to be on all the time 24/7. And so for me, that's also a really big win this year is just being very mindful and very intentional. It's okay. Take a break. You've been in it. You've been doing it. You've come so far. And I share this about my own experience, but I'm trying to empower you to also take a look at your life and to take what I'm sharing and apply it to your own life and to your own circumstances. And I find that's the best way for me to share my wisdom, my experience, my education, my training, and all of that is through the art of storytelling. And sometimes I get in my head about it and I'm like, is this landing? Is this making sense? Like, am I sharing too much? And I come back when I'm more grounded and I'm out of my head and I'm like, no, there's a reason why I do what I do. And I'm starting to own that more and more as time keeps going on because I know it's so relatable. People don't have these honest, vulnerable conversations. I mean, it's starting to get more common now, but not really. And then we all struggle alone. We all face it alone and we isolate ourselves and we think we're the only ones. This is why this is so important to me. The whole The Story Hour podcast, everything I've been sharing, everything that I do, it's rooted in that because I want people to feel less alone. I want to bring community into this. I want people to feel like we are all one in the end of the day. We all go through stuff. And this is why I share what I share. Even today, honestly, I had no really specific topic. I knew some points I wanted to share about the summer and things just being different and talking about how I also struggle and really normalizing that therapists need therapists, coaches need coaches. And I have all the tools and the coping mechanisms and the understanding of the mind, body, spirit and the impact it has on our nervous system. Like I have all that. But all of that falls to the wayside when I'm in it, when I'm depressed and when I'm sad and when I'm so in my grief. And I want to normalize that. I want to be that practitioner that actually shares that and actually owns that and shares my heart with you because that's where healing happens. I'm not just sitting across from you and preaching to you. I'm in it with you. We're in this together, you know? And so I think a lot of times we think that everyone has it all put together and this and that. I'm just not like that. I just can't not share aspects of my life in the form of storytelling. And the reason behind that is to inspire you, to empower you, to take back power and control of your own life, to rewrite your story. We are constantly evolving and growing. So we're constantly have the ability to rewrite our story if we choose to. If you don't, you're going to stay stuck. You're going to be in this rat race. You're going to be in this vicious cycle. It's going to keep going round and around and around. And you're never going to get out until you take action, until you take steps forward. I even talked about this in one of my previous episodes about taking action and owning that. Things only change when you change. We have to change first. And so this is why I share all of this for that aspect of it, but also the connection piece of it, the relatability piece of it. I am human first, and I've really had to work through that. And to be honest, this might just be a side thing, but I feel like it's also interconnected. And hopefully this is coming through the way I'm intending it to be. But I'm sure there's pieces with what I'm sharing that can apply and relate to you. And if not, I mean, all good. This is therapeutic for me as well. I remember sharing this in my first episode of why I even launched the Story Hour podcast. It's for you, for me, for us. Yeah, I'm talking to myself, but also inspiring and empowering you as well. And I find that very therapeutic for myself. I still get fear of being seen. I've been doing social media content and putting myself out there for probably 4 years. And I have come so far, and I know that. And I know that's the feedback I've gotten. I'm a lot more comfortable with being in front of a camera and speaking. And I've also let go a lot of the perfectionism. Like, fuck that. There still is a part of me that does have that. Let's be real. But I've definitely let go of that. This podcast was the very big vision I had for it was to be less performative, less perfectionist, less all of that, and to just be raw, real, honest. Like, let myself fuck up. Let myself not have it so structured, because I will tell you, I am such a person of structure and rigidity and having everything planned out. But I wanted to let go of that because it didn't feel right anymore. It didn't feel aligned. What I feel is just so needed is less of the perfectionism and the performing and all just for the likes and for the views. I had to really work through that, to be honest, because being on social media, starting out on this new career, build your practice and business online, because that's what everyone tells you to do. It's 2025. Online is the best way to market yourself and to gain attraction and all that stuff. And yeah, that's probably maybe true for some people, but I don't think it's for everyone. And I definitely feel like that related for me because social media wasn't it for me when it came to the business and all that stuff. My clientele was coming outside of social media, referrals, word of mouth, through other people. It wasn't coming from social media, but I put so much damn pressure on it to be from social media because that's what social media was telling me. And that's what everyone was telling me. It's so easy. You just got to do it and blah, blah. You can make so much money. And again, I think that might be true for some people, but I don't think it's in everyone's design to be able to do that. And I don't even want that. I've come to realize now that I don't. I've really shifted the way I am on social media. And it's still a part of me, obviously. I'm rooted in my personal experiences and I share a lot of inspiration and empowerment, but it's more through the art of storytelling. It's more of a blog. And that's what I transitioned into that. And that took a long time for me to do that. It actually started to feel very misaligned. I felt very disconnected. And so this year, I let go of the expectation for myself that this was going to be where my business was going to grow and evolve, was through social media. And honestly, I've been fighting that and I've been so resistant for probably 2 years. And I finally this year said, fuck it. I cannot do that. It's putting a toll on my mental health. And I will tell you, I feel so much more free. I feel so much more liberated. It's taken the pressure off me. And now my social media is just for fun. It's for inspiration and empowerment weaved in with everything that I teach. I've taken the pressure off myself, and that feels so much more lighter. I honestly feel a weight has lifted off my shoulder. And I share all this because this is the reality of the world that we live in right now. Everyone's telling you to do one thing, but is that really what you want? Is that really aligned with how you feel? And this is not even just business related. I'm talking about all the information that's out there. Social media, internet, there is information coming at us left, right, center. It is not normal. We should not be consuming and processing that much information. I don't even think we are processing it. We're consuming it in 15-second videos or a quick little paragraph. That's not how we learn. That's not how we educate ourselves. That's dopamine hits coming at us. And so I don't even know where I was going with that, but I was just sharing my experiences so that I can help other people to feel less alone. And I coming back to community connections and connective healing, connective and collective healing. Oh my gosh, can't even talk. But that's the whole point, right? I want the realness of conversations. This is the tagline of the Story Hour podcast: voices unscripted, stories rewritten. Everything that was done was very intentional. Go say that again. Voices unscripted, stories rewritten. The name just says it all, the tagline of my show, right? And so this is what it's all about. And it's not going to be perfect, but we have to start somewhere. If we don't celebrate all these little wins along the way, and we're always chasing for a big grand finale, we're never going to feel fulfilled. That grand finale is not going to feel that big. It's the stepping outside your comfort zone. It's being vulnerable. It's allowing yourself to fuck it up. It's allowing yourself to fumble along the way, to look stupid, to have people maybe judge you and talk about you and critique you. This is where the real work is. And by me showing up and sharing, this is the message I'm trying to send to everyone who is listening, is that we do it messy. Do it when you don't have it all figured out. That's the whole point of this. And so to wrap it up, how are you doing? I actually genuinely curious. I love to know what people are up to, what they're doing, how they're feeling, what makes you tick, what doesn't, what are you struggling with? And this is what I want to bring to this, a community where we can all talk, share, and support one another. And going back to that community piece of it, I'm trying to figure out how I can create more of a community where we can show up for one another and check in with each other. The whole point is to create change in the world, create more peace, more love, more acceptance, more unity for people. So they have a place to come to, whether it's even if you're listening or watching to it alone, but at least we're coming together. This is the community I'm building with the Story Hour podcast. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing in comment sections, I welcome sending me a DM on Instagram. Engage with me. Open to hearing your thoughts and where you're at and, just conversating. I think that's more needed than not. A big part of me also feels like maybe there's some in-person connection that needs to happen. And that's also something that I'm brainstorming and working through and trying to figure out what that could look like. Stay tuned for that. I don't have it all figured out, but if you're local in Vancouver and you're wanting to connect with other people and just wanting to build community, go through some healing practices, there's ideas that I have, then let me know what you're looking for, because maybe I can create something. I have a lot of people in this profession, in this industry and field, counselors, coaches, breathwork facilitators, you name it. There's a lot of people in my corner that I have that I feel like we can build something. And so if you're looking for something specific or just maybe some ideas that you have, I'd love to hear it. Thank you for everyone who has been listening and been watching. I really appreciate that. And if you feel called to, please reshare the clips from the episode. I take the full episode and I break it down and I just pick what I think is relevant or important and I create clips from them. Obviously, they're shorter because they're on social media and they don't give you the full context of the conversation. but they do, I hope, empower you to go watch and listen to the full episode. I'm going to leave it at that because that's all I can think of for now. But really, I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. If you're having a really bad summer, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. I hope it gets better. I hope that, what I've shared in the last episode and today's episode about the transitions, and if you are navigating singlehood and feeling really sad about that and in your grief about what your future holds, I also see you there. You're not alone. I'm feeling it. I'm going through it. And as much as I'm having a way better summer and a great time, I'm still in it. It all came back to the surface and I was in my feels and I'm letting it ride out and with no judgment, with curiosity and compassion and letting my tears flow. And I'm okay with that because I know the more I block it, the more it's going to fester inside. And then I'm just letting it go and I can only do what I can do. And same for you, right? What are you doing? Are you doing anything to make changes in your life? Everything that I talk about, it's all very interconnected. It's not just related to one topic. They go hand in hand. Life ebbs and flows. There's going to be darkness. There's going to be light. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be okay days. And there's going to be some really fucking downright shitty days. And that's okay. It's not going to be rainbows and sunshines every single day. And I get it because I sometimes feel like that. I wish it was. I wish I didn't have these down days or these dark days or these depressed days. But that's the reality of life. That's why we're here. Because on the other side of all of that, there's so much wisdom. There's so many lessons to be learned, so much that comes through and coming to self. I think that's the most important thing, right? It's coming back to self. It's our homecoming. Happy almost end of summer 2025. I am so excited to have my listeners here, whoever's watching. Just want to share so love and gratitude and just appreciation for everyone for being here and supporting me and encouraging me and riding this journey with me, because that truly means a lot to me, because I also really crave and desperately need love and connection and community and all the things. And I'm okay with being open about that. And so I really appreciate you. I really want you to even just take a moment now to have love for yourself, to hold gratitude for yourself, for what you're doing, just for showing up and being interested enough to want to learn and to grow and to evolve. Because again, that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point of the human experience. So that is that. We are going to sign off and I will see you all for episode 5 soon.